Good to go.
Hare Krishna and welcome to chapter 10. Let us repeat the Mangal Charan. Om Jnanatimi Vandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasme Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sakana Ragunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sthitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrinda Vaneshwari Vrishabhanuste Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we are covering chapter 10 today, Opulence of the Absolute, 42 verses. And we are covering from the Bhagavad-gita as it is, based on the teachings of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. The summary of chapter 10, all wondrous phenomena showing power, beauty, grandeur, or sublimity, either in the material world or in the spiritual, are but partial manifestations of Krishna's divine energies and opulence. As the supreme cause of all causes and the support and essence of everything, Krishna is the supreme object of worship for all beings. Synopsis of this chapter and why this chapter, in fact, Krishna in this chapter, like chapter 9 and the other chapters, he immediately starts to speak. So Lord Krishna at the end of 9th chapter advises to fix the mind on him. And we said this verse 934 is the climax, the epitome verse for the Bhagavad-gita. Man mana bhavamad bhaktyo. Krishna is telling us to think of him. Hence, he describes his opulences, of which a devotee can fix his mind and how to remember him when we see opulent, powerful, and beautiful things in creation. There are very opulent, powerful, and beautiful things in creation. We cannot, we cannot avoid that. It's there. And by meditating on those in relation to Krishna, as Krishna is going to describe in this chapter, we are actually thinking of Krishna. Then the conclusion of chapter 9 is that one should become a pure devotee of the Lord by focusing the mind on the Lord. And in chapter 10, we're going to cover that focuses on descriptions of Krishna's opulences by hearing. This will increase our devotion to the Lord. So this chapter has 3 sections, 1 to 7, 8 to 11, and 12 to 14. So the first section, Krishna's position as the origin of everything. So these 3 verses that Krishna starts off with, very wonderful. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, said. And the Sanskrit for that is Sri Bhagavan-vacha, which we'll cover just now. Listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend. For your benefit, I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. So Krishna already gave confidential knowledge. And here Krishna is, I'm going to share that which is better. So it's interesting how Krishna is saying, I'm sharing something better, but it's not really better in the sense of better than confidential knowledge. But Krishna will also in the other, he'll say that, but it's the way Krishna is presenting the same information in terms of how to develop our relationship with him, but using different focuses, different angles. And therefore, Krishna is saying better. Neither the hosts of demigods, nor the great sages, know my origin or opulences. For in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and sages. A very, very, very important point for us to appreciate. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginless, as the supreme Lord of all the worlds, he only undiluted among men is freed from all sins. And we'll see again and again, Krishna is making this point. He is the supreme personality of Godhead. So Krishna, Srila Vyasadeva writes Sri Bhagavan-vacha. Because remember, Krishna is speaking on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and Srila Vyasadeva compiled the Bhagavad-gita. And Bhagavan is a Sanskrit word, comes from two root words, bhaga and van. Bhaga means opulence and van means possess, possessor of. And there's a Sanskrit verse in Vishnu Puran where it says the supreme personality of Godhead, Bhagavan, is thus defined by Parasar Muni as one who is full in six opulences, who has full strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. Be defined or called as Bhagavan. No. The person who owns, who possesses all opulences in full, in unlimited quantity, that person is God. That person is Bhagavan and nobody else. Now Krishna says that he is the cause of all causes. And everything that's manifesting from Krishna, like the demigods, the sages, all the living entities, Krishna says they cannot understand me in full. Why? Because the effect cannot understand the cause. The effect is limited, and the cause, which is Krishna, is unlimited and complete. And only Krishna can understand everything about himself. But all his manifestations and expansions, like the living entities, the sages and the demigods, because they're coming from Krishna, they cannot understand. They have limited capacity to understand the complete whole. So therefore we accept Krishna's teachings in Bhagavad-gita to understand him. Now, appreciating Krishna's position leads to surrender. We'll find throughout scriptures, the different scriptures, Krishna's glories, his potencies, to the material world, how he creates this material world is described. We find Srimad Bhagavatam has so many cantos describing Krishna's relationship with the material world and how he expands, how he creates the material creation. And that is very, very important. The highest summit of spiritual perfection is knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So knowing God as great, generally people know God is great, like Allah, the great one. And Srila Prabhupada always in his talks, he would say, yes, you know Allah is great, but how great? They do not know in detail how God is great. And what is the need to know these opulences that Krishna is going to describe in this chapter? Only if one is firmly convinced about these opulences, then and then only can one accept Krishna with great faith without doubt. One becomes fixed up and sincere in loving devotional service, one comes to the platform of factual knowledge, and there is no alternative but surrender. So the conclusion is, do not neglect to understand fully how Krishna is great and is the forefather of all forefathers and all the demigods in administration. So it's key for our spiritual development, for our spiritual nourishment. That's why to understand the 10th canto, which is all about Krishna's glories, Krishna's pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam, 9 cantos are there to reveal Krishna's glories. So that when we hear this, it incites, it revives the desire to surrender to Krishna, to become submissive to Krishna. It friend. Krishna is a Suridam Sarva Bhutanam. I'm the friend of all living beings. So Krishna is a true friend, and we have such an amazing friend that is with us, like as a super soul, life after life after life after life. He loves us so much that he will never ever leave us, no matter which universe and which species we go. Krishna will always be with us. He is right next to us, and he's waiting for us to turn towards him. When we hear about him and we develop this desire to surrender, Krishna will immediately turn to, he'll look at us, he'll interact, he'll reciprocate with us, because he is more eager then in the next division, second section, 8 to 11. This is the Chatur Sloki Gita. Here Krishna is going to give us Bhagavad-gita in 4 verses. So if you don't remember all the other chapters and verses, don't worry. Just remember these 4 verses, Chatur Sloki Gita. Krishna is going to reveal Bhagavad-gita in 4 verses. The most essential verses. If you know these verses, imbibe them, understand them, and follow them. Reflect on them. You will perfect your life. First verse. Is Sri Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Is he Bhagavan? Is he Parameshwar? Is he the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And Krishna says, you can repeat. Aham sarvasya prabhavo.
Aham sarvasya prabhavo.
Ta sarvam pravartate.
Matta sarvam pravartate.
Imatva bhajante mam.
Iti matva bhajante mam.
Uda bhava samanvita.
Uda bhava samanpita.
I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So clear, so succinct. Scientists should hear this verse. Krishna is saying, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Then, if he is the Supreme Personality of God, what to do then? What do you do then? What's next? Krishna says, Machita Madgata Prana
Machita margata prana.
Odayanta Parasparam
Podya yanta parasparam.
Kathayantas Chamam Nityam
Katayantascha mam nityam.
Rushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha.
Tusyanti cha ramanti cha.
The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So now Krishna is saying, those who recognize me, those who recognize my position, what will they do? They will glorify, they will surrender, they will discuss about me, and they will derive great satisfaction and bliss from enlightening one another about Krishna. So Krishna is sharing the activities and the glories of pure devotees. What does the Lord do with such souls? How does he reciprocate? Tesam satata yuktanam
Tesam satata yuktanam
bhajatam pritipurvakam
bhajatam pritipurvakam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
dadami buddhi yogam tam
yena mam upayanti te.
yena mam upayanti te.
Those who constantly, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So Krishna will guide everyone that surrenders to him in love. Krishna will be our eternal guide. Then, how does Sri Krishna give special mercy to his pure devotees? Tesam avanukam partam
Tesam evanukampatam
aham agyanajam tamaha
aham agnanam jam tama
nasayamyatma bhavasto
nasayami atma bhavasto
jnanadipena bhashvata.
yana dipena bhavasta.
To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So Krishna takes special care, and if we faithful and we are dedicated to recognizing and serving Krishna, then all our ignorance that is there in our heart, that has been accumulated for lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes, Krishna, with the shining lamp of knowledge, will destroy that. Krishna will personally take care of that. So this is Chatur Shloki, Bhagavad-gita. Now, Krishna comes, or the next section, where Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna and his request. So how did Arjuna accept the Bhagavad-gita and the Lord thus far? He's heard many chapters, Krishna describing many subject matters, and Krishna again and again saying about him, his glories, his position, and now Arjuna is confirming. So Arjuna says, starting from the top left, Arjuna says, Para Brahman, you are the supreme truth. Param Dhamma, the ultimate abode. Pavitram, the purest, untainted by material contamination. Param Bhavan, the absolute truth. Purusham, you are a supreme, you are a person, supreme enjoyer. Sashwatam, eternal. Divyam, transcendental. Adidevam, the original Lord. Ajam, unborn. Vibhum, the greatest. Accepted by all acharyas. Narad, Asita, Devala, and not just saying because I'm your friend, like I'm flattering you. No, even great sages like Narada, Ashita, and Devala, Vyasa, they say this. And I totally accept as truth that you yourself are declaring it to. And neither demigods nor the demons can understand your personality. So very beautiful verse describing the qualities of the Supreme Lord. If somebody had to ask you, can you give me the characteristics of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then this verse is beautiful. Arjuna says, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam, Purusham Shasvatam, Divyam, Adi Devam, Ajam Vibhum, Ahustam, Rishya, Sarve, Devarsinarada Tata, Asito Devalo, Vyasa, Swayam Chaiva, Bravishime. Very beautiful. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of God, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Sita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm the truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. So if you take even one of this and meditate, contemplate, like Krishna is the greatest. We all want to associate and affiliate with ourselves with people that are great. You will not find a greatest person than Krishna. He's eternal. If you connect with Krishna, that relationship is eternal. So many wonderful traits. He's the purest. If you associate with Krishna, remember his glories, chant his names, you will become pure without doubt. Then Arjuna requests Krishna to hear more about his glories. So Arjuna has a question. How shall I constantly think of you? How shall I know you? In what various forms are you to be remembered? Because Krishna already told him, Man mana bhava mad bhakta. Arjuna, think of me. So now he is asking Krishna, please tell me, how can I remember? What ways can I remember you? And then he requests Krishna, please describe in detail the mystic powers of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you. For the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. This is Navayovana. That Krishna is always fresh. In fact, it's described that the Bhagavad-gita is non-different from Krishna. Lord Shiva is telling Parvati that the Bhagavad-gita is actually Krishna's form. And because Krishna is Navayovana, eternally youthful, fresh, Bhagavad-gita is ever fresh. That means when you hear Bhagavad-gita, you can hear constantly every day, every year. It will be fresh, it will be new. Srila Prabhupada in one lecture says, if you study, not just read, but if you study every chapter of Bhagavad-gita, all 18 chapters, every single day, Prabhupada says, every single day you will find something new. Why? Because it is Krishna. Come in the form of the Gita, Bhagavad-gita, so that we can associate him. There's a beautiful cartoon. Somebody says, oh God, please speak to me. And from the clouds, Krishna hands him the Bhagavad-gita. God is directly speaking to him via the Gita. Krishna is speaking directly to us by the Bhagavad-gita. So Arjuna is requesting, Krishna, please tell me how I can remember you. And I'm going to play a wonderful narration between Krishna and Arjuna as we go through these wonderful opulences. Try to just absorb your mind as you see the pictures, absorb your mind in Krishna's opulences. It is he and his opulences that pervade this entire your dearmost friend.
O Janardana, please describe in detail the mystic power of your opulences. I am never satiated in hearing about you. Why are you again and again asking, Arjun? I've already answered with Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo. I've already explained that I'm the source of everything. But that's just the seed, Krishna. Explain to me in more detail. By these sweet teachings, you have created a greed in me. Therefore, you are making me beg more and more from you. And the more I hear, the more I want to taste the nectar of your words. You are tasting with your ears, Arjun? Yes, Krishna. My ears have become like a tongue, the agent for tasting the nectar of your words. Hey, Hanta. Yes. I will now tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only those which are prominent, because my opulences have no end. The cause of all majesty is me. I am the Supersoul seated in the hearts of all beings. I cause the beginning, middle, and end of all beings. By my energy, I have manifested this material world. O Gudikesh, you are good at meditation. Beings. And know that of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon. Of the Vedas, I am the Samaveda. And of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. and in living beings, I am the living force. Of all the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kubera. Of the Vasus, I am Agni, and of mountains, I am Meru. Of priests, O Arjun, know me to be the chief, Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Of the great sages, I am Brigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Of all trees, I am the Ashwata. And of the Devarishis, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am your friend, Chitrarata. And among Siddhas, I am Kapila. Of horses, know me as Uchai Shrava, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavata, and among men, I am the monarch. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am Kamadhuk. Of causes for procreation, I am Kandarpa, the god of love. And of serpents, I am Vasuki. Of the many-hooded Nagas, I am Ananta. And among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama. And among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the lord of death. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlad. Among subduers, I am time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garuda. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of wielders of weapons, I am Parashuram. Of fishes, I am the shark. And of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges. Of all creations, I am the beginning, middle, and end. Of all sciences, I am the spiritual science of the self. And among logicians, I am the conclusive truth. Of letters, I am the letter A. And among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also inexhaustible time. And of creators, I am Brahma. I am all-devouring death. And I am the generating principle of all that is yet to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience. Of the hymns of the Samaveda, I am the Brihat Sama, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Margashirsha, and of seasons, I am the flower-bearing spring. I am also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid, I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong. Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am Vasudeva, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjun. Of the sages, I am Vyas, and among great thinkers, I am Ushana. Among all means of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am wisdom. Furthermore, O Arjun, I am the generating seed of all existences. There is no being that can exist without me. Hey Prantapa, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. Therefore you should know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. But what need is there for all this detailed knowledge with a single fragment of myself?
So Krishna's unlimited opulences in categories. Krishna has revealed all that which is glorious, which is powerful, which is beautiful, which is astounding. And it's true when we see many of these opulences, we appreciate these opulences. And now we can understand that they are simply a fraction, a spark of Krishna's splendor. Just consider if the spark in this material world is so wonderful, is so glorious, is so powerful. Consider what Krishna is, the inferno. It is inconceivable. If we take shelter of Krishna, we will feel completely sheltered. I like to share one or two of these opulences and just expand a little so that we can contemplate, we can meditate, consider. Krishna says, of the subduers, I am time. So Krishna says, I am time. And we can consider, if Krishna says he is time, that means it's his energy, and it's a manifestation of that energy within this material world, which destroys. In the spiritual world, time does not destroy. Time is actually a servant of Krishna in the spiritual world. So when we use our time for serving Krishna, Krishna can expand and contract time according to his sweet will. Sometimes we may say, I don't have time for spiritual life. But you will find that when you start putting time for spiritual life, you will have time for everything else. Because Krishna will expand time. And there's a beautiful pastime of how Krishna expands time. In the Badrik Ashram, the Himalayas, we have a temple, Badrinarayan temple there. And because it gets very cold, generally during the cold winter seasons, the pujaris, they all come down to the base of the mountain. And then after it warms up again, then they go back to worship the deities. So one elderly devotee who was dedicated to serving the Lord, he was old and he decided that, let me spend my last few days taking darshan of Badrinarayan. So he decided to traverse, go up on the mountains to see Badrinarayan. And being very elderly, he took great strain to climb up right to the top. And as he was coming to the top, he found the Kirtan party was coming out of the temple. They locked and they were on their way down, which means that he noticed that he was a few hours late. They had just closed the temple and they were now going down to the base while he was coming up to take darshan. And he felt, oh, so unfortunate. I was so unfortunate that now I cannot take darshan of the Lord, and I'll have to wait 3 months for them to come up to open the temple. And he was thinking, if I'm going to go down, I may not survive. I'm old. So I might as well just sit here, chant, and wait for the Lord. Wait for 3 months to be over. So he sat, the pujaris and the kirtan party went down to the base. And that night, he sat, made some fire, and waited, chanting, waited for the 3 months to come, to be over. That evening, another prince happened to come on horseback on the same place where he was. And the prince noticed this old man and asked him, what are you doing here? And he said, well, I'm very old. I came to take darshan of Badrinarayan. So what can I do? I'm here. I can't go down because I know I'll leave my body. It's very strenuous. So I'm just passing my time glorifying the Lord and waiting. So then the prince said, okay, can I also spend some time with you? Sure, the old man said. And the prince said, but I'm a prince, so I like to play dice. You like to play dice? And the man said, okay, no problem. I'll serve you in this way. So then the prince sat and started playing with this old man. They spent the whole night playing. Next morning, all of a sudden, they heard the kirtan party coming up. The old man was surprised. Oh, the kirtan party is here? That's amazing. How is that possible? I just spent one night. It cannot be 3 months. Impossible. And the kirtan party, the pujaris and the sankirtan team coming up, they saw the old man and they were thinking, cannot be. How could this old man survive outside for 3 months in the winter? Not possible. Then the old man looked around to find this prince, and the prince was nowhere to be seen. So who do you think the prince was? None other than Krishna himself. And because of the sincerity of this elderly devotee who wanted to take darshan of Narayan, the Lord, for him, took 3 months and compressed that in one night. And for the pujaris that went down, Krishna took one night and expanded that for 3 months. So they actually passed 3 months, whereas for the pujari, it was for the elderly devotees only one night, and the elderly devotee only passed one night, but the experience that he got, even though he passed one night, was like 3 months had gone. Because why? That's the time the pujaris would come. So here we see Krishna can expand time and contract time. And then one more I like to share. I am all devouring death. Krishna is all devouring death. So you either surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sham Sundar, with a peacock on his head, peacock feather on his head, beautiful dhoti, beautiful forest flowers. You either surrender to him, the beautiful Sham Sundar, Supreme Personality of Godhead, or you have to surrender to death. Surrender you must. We have a choice. Krishna says those who don't surrender to him, they will have to surrender to death. And he's all devouring death. Now what's interesting is, in the 8th chapter, we spoke a little about death. It's describing Garuda Puran, that death is very painful. It's like 1,000 scorpions biting you at the same time. But for those who are devotees of Krishna, it's described that they do not feel that excruciating pain. And how is that? The example is given of the mother cat carrying its kitten. The mother cat carries its kitten on the neck with its sharp teeth. Similarly, the mother cat also carries the rat with the sharp teeth. Same jaws, same sharp teeth, but for the kitten, it's love, it's protection. And for the rat, it's death. So for a devotee, we may also go through death, but for us, we will see death as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And those who don't surrender to Krishna, they will see death like the rat experiencing death in the cat's jaw. So we have a choice. Let us hear these qualities, recognize Krishna's opulence, and surrender to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that ends this chapter 10. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Prabhu, can you just say that again? I think we lost you there.
Yeah, so that ends our chapter. Are there any questions or comments? Anyone has? I'm going to share 2 links. So the first link you can on your own. Let's see, this is a 2-year-old devotee, and his mother is quizzing him on these qualities that Krishna has mentioned in this chapter. So you can go through and see how many of them can you remember. This 2-year-old can remember all of them. Let's see how many you can remember. And then there's this beautiful narration of the story of the cobbler and the Brahmana to illustrate. He had faith in Krishna. He had faith in Krishna's opulences, in his power, and therefore he could accept what Narad Muni told him. So you can view that on your own. All right, so if there is, yes, the audio and the pictures are very nice. it goes deeper into our consciousness, and hopefully we can remember, and we can regularly hear the qualities, so that one day when you go and you're able to see any of these opulences, immediately your thought will go, oh yes, Krishna says, I am this. So we'll see Krishna again, even in the future chapters. Krishna is going to give us more of these opulences to get us to think in every aspect of this creation we can think of Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. So Mukund, up all yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for that class. Very deep class as well, with all the opulences that we learned today. Thank you, Prabhu, for giving and sharing that knowledge with us. We'd just like to close off with the closing prayer, and I do have some announcements here after. So if you could just join me in the closing prayer. Om Dio Shanti Antariksham Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apah Shanti Oshadayah Shanti Vanaswatayah Shanti Vishvedevah Shanti Brahma Shanti Sarvam Shanti Shantireva Shanti Shama Shantirevi Hari Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bolo Shri Krishna Kanaya Lal Ki Jai, Shri Gomata Ki Jai. Thank you all for joining us tonight. This is the end of the program. We will see you again tomorrow night at 8, where we will continue with class. So just an overview of what's going to happen over the weekend. So we did say we're going to end by chapter 12 tomorrow, but we're going to extend it. So tomorrow we're going to do chapter 11, and then join us again on Saturday for chapter 12. And then Sunday we got a special online event, but I'll share the details tomorrow. So this is the weekend lineup, chapter 11, 12, and then there's a special online event that's gonna take place. Thank you all for joining us. If you still want to be on the WhatsApp group, please do message me. I am busy finalizing that link for the slides and the videos, so hopefully tomorrow I can also share that, so all the classes and recordings will be on there. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, Narasimhananda Prabhu, for the class. From everyone here at Govinda's Goshala, have a good night. Namaste. Hare Krishna.